Hello and good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today for the signing of House Bill 1125. There is a dangerous movement spreading across America today. It's advancing under the guise of a false ideology and pseudo-science. It's being pushed onto our children through radical activists, social media, and online influencers. And it's trying to convince our children that they are in the wrong body. This dangerous movement attempts to convince these children that they're just a surgery away from happiness. It threatens our children's innocence, and it threatens their health. I stand before you today to sign legislation that puts a stop to this in Mississippi and protects our kids. House Bill 1125 bans gender transition procedures through both drugs and surgeries for those under the age of 18. It also prevents public funds from supporting prohibited gender transition procedures, stops Medicaid from covering gender transition procedures on kids under 18, and it establishes penalties for those who violate this law. Due to the rise of those trying to influence young, impressionable children and the negative health effects and health consequences that comes with their influence, this legislation is more necessary today than ever before. And I am proud to stand before you and sign it. You know, it's almost unimaginable that this is where we are in today's America. Having to sign legislation that protects our kids from those pushing chemicals and castration, I honestly never thought I'd see this day. But yet, here we are. Thanks to these activists, our kids, in many ways, are now their guinea pigs. To them, I say, not in Mississippi. When it comes to how these drugs, surgeries, and procedures are truly impacting our kids, most of the time, we're just not getting the truth. We're told over and over and over again by those on the far left that they're safe. We're told, don't worry, the kids will be fine, and the potential side effects are, at worst, minimal. And if you stand up and ask questions, well, you're unfairly labeled as intolerant or transphobic, and you're attacked and censored. So today, let me be clear. In a world that's upside down when it comes to doing right by our kids, Mississippi will once again fight to keep our state right side up. And that's why Mississippi will also, once again, follow the science and keep our kids safe. To the Mississippians watching today, here are just some of the indisputable facts being covered up by those looking to experiment on our children. First, the FDA has not approved puberty blockers for stopping normally timed puberty in youth experiencing gender dysphoria. Second, despite what some claim, these non-FDA approved drugs can lead to a range of potential negative side effects, including low bone density, altered adult height, and impaired special memory. These types of experiments often lead to a disruption of basic reproductive functions and ultimately infertility. This is truly scary stuff that's being pushed upon our kids and, yes, their loving parents. They are being taken advantage of. Also, some can push their warped view on gender or appear to be woke for their friends. On top of the very sick things they're pushing on our kids, they're also actively twisting medical studies, reporting findings out of context, and overemphasizing results while ignoring the important fine print that comes along with them. There's really no other way to say this. The very foundation their arguments depend upon are simply not true. And many members of the media are either unwilling or afraid to tell you what the real situation is. Well, I'm not afraid to tell you. Here's the real situation. Of the relatively few studies that exist which claim some benefits for children, their flaws, as often recognized by the authors, are profound. The potential benefits are totally unclear, but the negative impacts are obvious. That's why I believe it's so important for Mississippians to understand that the so-called benefits being parroted by radical activists do not have adequate long-term studies to back up their claims. As a father of 3, this issue is too important to sit down and stay quiet. I'm not going to be silenced, nor am I going to be censored on this issue. Healthcare is about healing, not hurting. The principle of do no harm should never be forgotten. And that's why I'm thankful for the many parents and medical professionals who are loudly speaking out on this issue. As I said just a few weeks ago in my State of the State, we don't let 11-year-olds enter an R-rated movie alone. Nor do we let them drive. Nor do we let them get a tattoo. Yet some would have us believe that we should push permanent body-altering surgeries on them at such a young age. Puberty is complicated enough without online personalities telling young girls and boys that the challenging feelings they're experiencing are a result of being born in the wrong body. It's all the more disturbing when we realize how studies have revealed the shockingly high rates of anxiety, depression, autism, and other mental issues that exist within the population of children who have fallen prey to this ideology. While some in America carve out a truly delusional position on this issue, countries all over the world are moving in the exact opposite direction. Even liberal darlings like Finland and Denmark and Sweden don't allow these surgeries to be performed on kids who are under the age of 18. Fundamentally, this is a war on objective scientific truth, and it's a fight over basic biology. Today, far too many people are fearful of the online woke mob, which demands complete and total acquiescence on this issue. It attempts to tell parents that they're not allowed to question their children or the origins of these feelings. Yet, the loud, emerging voice of the many kids who are and have detransitioned are clear. They needed somebody to listen to them, to love them, and they needed help to sort through their problems, not to blindly affirm their beliefs. At the end of the day, there are only two positions here. One tells children that they're beautiful just the way that they are, that they can find happiness in their own bodies. The other tells them that they should take drugs and cut themselves up with expensive and experimental procedures in order to find freedom from depression. I know which side I'm on. No child in Mississippi will have these drugs or surgeries pushed upon them. This stops today. We are taking a stand for all of our children. House Bill 1125 is now law.